Hello, Rich.
Dave.
This is Colin Norfield, by the way. Sound engineer to the stars. This is the first thing I'm going to put on YouTube of like sitting on the sofa in my front room, chatting whatever we fancy chatting about. And chewing the fat, that's a good way of putting it. So, yeah, today we've been putting some bass down on a song. You've kindly decided to add some bass to one of my songs.
Yeah, something I've been wanting to do for ages. Because I haven't played for years, and it's something I love doing. And I say I love doing. I haven't done it for a long time, but I used to love playing, and I played for years. I was in a small pro band years ago, and I decided to do sound engineering for a while, and then I'll go back to it. But of course, I never did. Because
as ever, these things, you get good at something and it ends up paying your mortgage. And
yeah, well, that's what you have to prioritise, isn't it? What you do. But I've still wanted to play, and thankfully, you give me the chance to play a couple of things today. And I'm not as rusty as I thought I was. I'm a bit rusty, of course, because I haven't played for a long time. But
and you use that Rickenbacker there?
I use that Rickenbacker, yeah.
So yeah, I mean, it was a pleasure. I really like what you came up with. Obviously, I've worked a lot in the studio as an engineer, and you've worked a lot as a live engineer. So, what would you say are the differences?
I don't know really, because I've never done studio engineering. But I mean, I can imagine it would be live. You're dealing with the moment.
Yeah.
You know, and that's you know, it's the now, here and now. You know, you haven't got a chance to run back and retake or remix it, or you know, it's the chance. And if it's rubbish, then there's nothing you can do about it, because those 3 or 4 minutes or however long the song is, they're over and it's gone. You know, it's the next song, and you have to focus on what's next. You can't beat yourself up.
See, I've always found live, whenever I've done live bits, don't get me wrong, it's not on the same level as you. I've sort of like mainly sort of like pubs, clubs and function gigs sort of things, and I've done, it's always a compromise. I can never get the sound to sound, you know, I want that bass drum sound. Whereas on a recording, you can go back and edit and automate the gate so it opens at this point and does all that, and you can do 30 passes.
The smaller the venue, you know, if you're a pub or a club, you know, the closer proximity that the equipment is, you lose the separation. You know, because there's you know, you might have, you know, in a smaller venue or something, you might have 20 mics up, but that's 20 mics picking up everything. It's not like, you know, you open the stage up and then you've got that vastness of a stage, and you've got that separation.
Yeah, I mean that's.
Then of course you've got the bigger acoustics to contend with. Then so one plays off against the other.
Do you try and dial out any of the stuff, like get rid of the toms from the overheads, or? No,
I don't. The toms. It's all prominent for me. The drum sound to me is the most important thing in a lot. You know, because to me, without a drum sound, you might as well pack up and go home.
Yeah.
You know, the other stuff it's very important, but of course it's important. But you know, the drum sound. You know, because there's a lot of mics around the drum kit, and if there's something not quite right, then it bugs me. If something's not right with something in a mix, just one thing that's not right, it'll bug me, and it takes my mind off the whole show, off the whole mix, because I'm concentrating on this one thing, and I have messed up in the past, you know, because it takes my attention, you know, my full attention. You know, when I'm sitting back and it's all sounding good, I can sit and relax and then do what I want to do, and it's easier to do. If one thing's wrong, it throws me completely. It still does.
One thing that I've done on recordings, which I think you do a similar thing to live, is I've taken certain instruments, particularly the bass drum and the bass guitar, and I've put probably like a software crossover on them. So on my either real mixing desk back in the old days when I had a physical mixing desk, or on my virtual mixing desk, I've got 2 faders for the bass, one of which will be all that real sub stuff like the 80 hertz, 100 hertz below, and then in a track.
For me, bass drum is you get the punch on a bass drum, and for me, I 9 times out of 10 I EQ. I put a high pass in the bass guitar, because you get then you work on the notes as opposed to just I run a system with a separate sub, so I can be artistic in certain songs. I can have more sub in a certain song on a bass guitar or a bass drum if it's a big song.
And you run it on auxiliary.
Yeah, and on aux, and in other songs it'll go off, more. It'll be there, but it won't be as much as prominent. So then it's more. Yeah, you be creative with it. That's all.
So it's similar technique from studio. Yeah. The reason that you haven't done studio stuff rather than live stuff is
never had a chance.
Is it something that
kind of, yeah. I'd like to have a go, because I think it's probably a lot easier in a way, because you're dealing with ideal conditions all the time. As I say, if you've got a live gig every day, you're working on different acoustics and different room. It'll be exactly the same show, but what you're doing is totally different every day. It's not to get the same result. It's always a different approach, because the room will
govern what you're doing.
I mean, it dominates what you're doing. So you're then working. I mean, some room we did one. We did one with you guys. Earlier this year. I mean, it was it was just at the end of it, I just want to pack up and go home. Just because the enjoyment for me is sitting down behind a desk and mixing the show. The rest of it I'm not so interested in, but mixing the show is what gives me my goal. To mix it and everyone's, nice sitting in the end of it. And if I haven't enjoyed it as well, I'd sit and go,